So I'm going to start by taking my pen tool, and first I need to draw the cording, but in order to make this nice and seamless, I need to make sure it's perfectly the same from here to here. So I'm going to start by drawing the top half of this cording. Then I actually don't really need that anymore. And I'm going to give it no fill right now. Then I'm going to reflect this line. So I'm going to go to the reflect, see if I can find it, reflect tool. And hold Option. I'm going to click this anchor point that was in the middle of the trim. And I'm going to make a copy over the horizontal axis. So copy. So now I have this line. You can zoom in. And then I'm going to reflect again, hold Option, and again you can click that anchor point, and I'm going to reflect, not a copy, just that second line over the vertical axis. So now we know that these are perfectly sort of a mirror image of each other. I am going to average and join, so I have one full line. Next, bless you, I've selected this whole line. I'm holding Option and I'm clicking my right arrow button once, and then I'm going to use the arrow button to slide this on over, and then I'm going to try and get sort of a similar width as to what's going on here, because this is the trim that I want to recreate, this mouse. So I'd say that looks pretty good. Then what I want to do is I want to create a shape out of these two lines. So I'm going to select both lines and use my favorite shape builder. So click once inside and then hold Option, and you can click the extra little tails away. So now we have one little twist in our rope. So next, with the whole thing selected, I'm going to hold Option. I'm going to press the right key again once to make my copy, and I'm going to slide this over. And I want to get it so it's perfectly lined up, one line on top of the other. If we wanted, we could go into outline mode to really see that those are nice and lined up. View, and we'll go back to preview. And I want to do 4 little twists, so I'm going to highlight both of these, hold Option, click my right arrow key once to make a copy, and then slide this over here. So I have 4 twists in my trim. And again, we want to make sure that that's lined up nicely. I'm going to give this a white fill now that I have everything I need. Okay, so let me show you, and you guys have done, I think, brushes before, but we'll just kind of review. So let's see what would happen if we just added this to our brush panel. Let's say pattern brush. Okay, I'm going to say okay. So if I just added that, and I applied my brush, there's gaps, because the brush, the computer, the program takes everything from here to here. So these spaces, it's including in my brush. So the way to get around that would be, I'm going to add an invisible rectangle. But to make sure everything lines up, I am going to make sure that my smart guides are on, which they are. There's a little check by it, which means, let's try it. It's not working, so let's do it again. Smart guides. There we go. So smart guides will automatically line things up. So I know right here, that's the center of this current twist. So I want to find the center when I get that little X to show up. I'm in the rectangle tool, hovering over, click and drag into the center of the 3rd rung and release. So I know Let's right click, arrange, and it has to be sent to the back. So I know that it's going to be a perfect repeat between the center of this and then it's going to go into the center of this. In order to make this work and for the program to understand that that is the repeat that I want for my brush, I need to give it no fill and no stroke. Then I'm going to select everything. I might group these together. So I've selected the invisible rectangle behind my rope as well as my entire rope. And the mouse is just killing me. And I'm going to add a new brush. It's going to be a pattern brush. I'm going to click OK. And right now I'm just going to click OK. So let's change this line to our new brush. And as you can see, it's nice and continuous. You can change the size that way, or you can change the entire size of the actual brush by double clicking, and as you can see, scale here, preview's checked, so you can if you adjust the scale here, every time you use the brush it'll always be this size. Okay, let's apply to the strokes. So that is a cording or rope trim.